Good afternoon, guys. I'm really pleased to be joined today by a wonderful author of a child's book programme called Emily Payne. Good afternoon, Emily. How are you?
Hey, I'm really good, thank you. How are you, Vicky?
I'm very well. It's good to see that we've our little behind the scenes problems with IT have now been resolved, but the viewers won't be aware of that if they're watching this, will they? Thankfully, Emily is better than me at tech. So, welcome, Emily. So, I'm super pleased that you're joining me today because it is National Teacher Appreciation Week. And so, as a teacher, I am supporting other teaching initiatives. Obviously, one of which you're going to talk to us about today, which is super exciting. And I'd like to start really by welcoming you and introducing you. So you are author of a kids dyslexic reading program / mini course, which is called I Am a Giant Leaper. Could you tell us a little bit about that and your background and how you got into that for everybody?
Yeah, of course. So the Giant Leaper Learning Solution came about quite randomly at the start of the year. I'd been on maternity leave and I was a month away from heading back to work, and I'd been doing my own YouTube channel with like reading kids stories on there called Mad Story Time, and it just made me kind of think about like when I was reading them about all of the struggles that I used to have when I was younger, and I really did struggle with my reading and writing at school, and it's something that I've just really kind of just concentrated on massively. And I just thought, what kind of things did I use to help me to get where I am? And I just thought maybe I might be able to help other people with them. And it was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, not that you don't have much to do when you're on maternity leave at all. So it was just something that I added in there, and yeah, just started putting the pack together because I realised that actually a lot of my issues came from my mind and my beliefs, and it was just a case of like, how could I teach that to a child that if they believe that they can't read or they can't write or they have issues with it, then they will just naturally struggle. And it sounds really random that a belief could do that, but that is usually the case.
So Emily, could you tell us a little bit more about how your book, the I Am a Giant Leaper series, what does it look like when a kid is interacting with the software in the book? How is that actually helping kids to read correctly, away from our traditional phonics setting? What does that look like for kids?
So it's basically, obviously in the pack you've got three different versions of the book. You've got the main book, which is obviously written, and obviously because it's a digital pack currently it would be an ebook, and then you've got the audio where children can listen to how the words sound and just listen to the story and just relax and not have to worry about obviously seeing the words, but then can actually hear how they sound. Or they can sit and look at the ebook with the audio and read along. But then there's also this other aspect that we have in it, which is what I call a video book, and it's basically where you've got the pictures from the book so the child knows what page they're on, and then underneath it it's got two lines usually from the book, and it's got myself reading the book along with it. So you've got the audio, you've got the visuals from the book, and then you've also got short sentences on the bottom of the video, and there's like a marker, so then the child knows what line they're on. So if they pause the video at any time, they can come back to it and go, oh, I'm on this line here, and then they can obviously, if they get stuck with any words, they can obviously skip back to that and re-listen to that word, just so then that word can be implanted more into their heads really. And obviously with the three different variations of senses coming into the child's head, with your visual, audio, and obviously physically seeing things there, they're 70% more likely to take things in. So if you've got all of the elements separately. So if they're just reading the ebook, they'll take about 30% of it in. If there's just the audio, it's another 30, and then the visual side of it, then like watching the video, it'd be another 30. But when you join all those three together, they're likely to take a bigger chunk of about 70% in of all of the information that they're reading and learning.
And 70% is quite a big intake of information from a teaching perspective. So to me, in my mind, a karaoke machine kind of comes into play here. So like the words are kind of lighting up as you're going through the story. Is it kind of that kind of effect?
It's very similar. The words don't currently light up. Maybe something that we will look into in the future. But what you do have is you have a background colour. So obviously with dyslexic children, they usually, when they get diagnosed with dyslexia, they get given a colour that usually helps them with their reading.
Right.
So the video book is created with all of those different coloured backgrounds. You just obviously the main one that we currently have at the moment is the green background. I think it's called green grass. But then we obviously have the other 10 colours in the dyslexia colour spectrum that I'm aware of, and so if you need the video book in one of those other colours, you just need to get in touch with us and we can send you the video book in the correct colour for your child, so then they're able to obviously get the most out of the programme as well.
That's fantastic. Thanks for clarifying. So it really is personalised for each student's individual learning needs, which is brilliant.
Yes, yeah, and the book obviously currently with the pack is The Poetry Princess, which is obviously written in rhyme, and a study has been shown that children actually pick up words a lot quicker when they're being rhymed together. So then that also makes reading a lot easier. So if a child's struggling with a word or struggling with a sentence, at least they know what the end word might be, or can try and work it out themselves with the rhyme. And actually, I think there is a study that showed that when you're teaching children in rhyme, they go over the same words. So if they read the book multiple times, their vocabulary would go up by about 12%, which sounds like a small number, but actually if you've been struggling with your reading and words haven't been flowing how they should, 12% is actually quite a big shift.
That's brilliant, and that can help close the word gap as well. What's known in education as the word gap is the range of vocabulary that students can use. Those that have got a small vocabulary struggle, especially when they're coming to exams and reading and decoding exam questions. So that's a great thing to be doing. Fantastic.
Just to kind of be able to reach a lot more children than what you would just by doing it in a standard kind of way that I was taught in school. And obviously with my son being born, I just thought it's I don't want him to struggle in school like I did, and so if there's something that I could put together, I know he's got a little while as yet before he heads to school, but if there's something that I could put together to help him later on and help other children, then I thought it would be major help.
Yeah, because when I was at primary school and when you were at primary school, I'm sure, because we've talked about this before, we didn't learn phonics. Phonics is a new thing to me. It's something my daughter's doing, but it's not easy for all kids to pick up phonics and for that to be a reading tool. I remember we had to persevere for a long time, myself and my daughter, who's now 8, before it clicked. So really your I Am a Giant Leaper programme would be of interest to teachers in primary schools, especially anyone with the title of SENCO, so responsible for special educational learning needs of children with dyslexia or other problems, maybe like Erland syndrome, if they need the different kind of contrasting background to be able to read text more confidently. So it's absolutely great that there's something else out there that people can use, or parents can use? Because it's not just for teachers, is it? This program is designed for parents to use with their children. I'm right there, aren't I?
Yes, yeah, the pack very much was designed for a homeschool element, just to make it a lot easier on parents, because I mean the stories when I was putting the pack together I was reading was obviously parents really struggling with their kids who obviously have different issues with their learning, and it was basically there just to help the parents out, to go, this is an easy guide, you can walk through it with your child, or you can go through it first and then teach it to your child afterwards.
Yeah.
But it was the element of kind of taking the teacher out of the classroom, putting it with the parent, and then the parent has got something that can really help them.
And that's super relevant for what the situation that we're in now, aren't we? Because parents are having to be at home and they are having to homeschool their kids for the first time. So what I'm going to do for people who are interested in getting their hands on this mini course is I'll put a link to the I Am a Giant Leaper bookstore program, and I'll put that on the description for the video, so that if you want to go and have a look at it and get your hands on it, you can just go to the link and have a look at that. So I know that you've got one of your books from the I Am a Giant Leaper collection there now. I'm going to ask you to share, you know, one activity from one of those books that you think could help teachers in the current situation that we've got now with COVID lockdown, but yet teachers are still going into schools. They are looking after key workers' children, and understandably some of those children will be anxious, they will be quite stressed out, and they'll have some awareness that their parents are doing quite a difficult job, and they are putting themselves in a bit of a risk. And you know, is there something you could teach teachers now, share with them a little activity, mindfulness technique that teachers could go and use in their classrooms kind of now or moving forward when kids eventually come back to school? What could they do?
Yeah, so I've got a technique in my Inner Body book. It's a book to help children who are dealing with anxiety, and it's got a variety of different techniques in there, but my favorite one is called Leaves on a Stream. I'll just show you that picture quickly. So basically, Leaves on a Stream is a technique that I picked up a few years ago, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, I love this technique, absolutely fantastic. It's basically, you get your children to sit down, get them to shut their eyes, take a few deep breaths, and get them to imagine that they're sat by a lovely, beautiful stream, nice blue, clear water, the sun's shining down on you, and maybe they've got their feet in the water and they're just moving their feet around, and then they start to see leaves floating down the stream. And if they're in that kind of anxious state, their minds are racing, and this is perfect for them to just kind of release all of that anxiety. So any thoughts or words that come into their head, they just place onto the leaf. So maybe if they're angry, you put anger onto the leaf, and then you let it float away. So you watch it float away, and then it's just gone. And you keep doing that with every thought and sentence that comes into your head. And then about halfway, you probably get a mix of words. So you're probably dealing with quite negative words to start with, and then you'll start to get a mix of negative and positive words, maybe like love, happy, anger, smile, things like that, or sentences. And then you actually just let them keep flowing down until you just have the more, so to speak, positive words, and you're actually in a more calm mindset once you're finished. And that's about a 5-minute technique that you can just sit with any child or children in a massive classroom, and just to kind of check in with them, go, how are you guys feeling? Let's just do this exercise, relax us, and then by the end of it, you should hopefully have a good, calm classroom who are ready for that.
The teacher in me thinks that would just make a perfect starter activity. So starter activities is the first like 5 minutes of the lesson when you're getting kids focused, getting them calm and ready to learn. So that would be a brilliant starter activity. Thank you very much for sharing that. Even just imagining myself sitting there by a river, I was already starting to kind of get in the zone there. It is a super no river nearby. Okay, so fantastic. So moving on to what I'm super excited about, which is your current charity project, which is a fantastic idea. And it wasn't just kind of you that's working on this. You've been in collaboration with your friend, your mentor, Sam Myers. Not sure how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. And so I want to speak about that. So I'll let you tell the listeners out there what that project is about, who's getting involved, how can they support it?
So we, me and Sam basically teamed up a couple of weeks ago. I rang her up really randomly because she has been helping me to promote the Giant Leaper learning solution. And I just rang her up and just said, hey, do you fancy come on board with another cool project? And she was like, yeah, go on then. And I said to her about doing a children's charity book called Rethink the Rainbow, and it's to shine a light on children's mental health. We decided what we were going to do was have about 20 stories from a variety of different authors, and we've got all of our 20 stories now. Well, actually, no, we've got 21 stories because we had a new lady today, which we're very excited to have on board. And basically, it's about kind of giving children a voice. So we've got a mix of authors, from adult authors to children authors as well, and just kind of talking about challenges they may have faced or overcome, which could be either to do with the current lockdown situation or just something that they've overcome, just to kind of give children a bit of kind of insight that things do happen, but actually change is a really good thing, and even if things feel a bit uneasy right now, things will work out for the best. And not to worry too much. We obviously do have other things in there. We've got a variety of different activities in there as well. Obviously, I've got my bits from my Inner Buddy book in there as well. And then we have a lady who's been putting together some bits around healing to help you to work with your energies as well. It's a very exciting project. So I'm a little bit tongue-tied because it's all literally just come together like a juggernaut.
It's really hard, isn't it, to talk about a new project when it's still underway and it's still happening, because you've not got to that point where it's done and you can say this is what it is. So it's a book. It's going to be an ebook available to buy for, correct me if I'm wrong, Emily, £9.99.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and it's all the proceeds, all the money will be going where from the sale of the book?
So we are currently we're looking at a variety of different children's charities, children's mental health charities that we're going to be donating the proceeds from the book to. We're looking at some in a variety of in different areas, obviously around London, but also from my area, East Anglia. So it's a variety of different children's mental health charities. We're still working on them, so if anyone has any charities they'd like us to maybe look at, please let us know.
It's a fantastic, really worthy cause. That it's a book about children's mental health for children and their parents, and the money raised is going to go to children's mental health charities, which is great. And as I've spoken with you before, I come from a background of personal experience with mental health problems when I was at high school, and understand how difficult it is for children to be in mainstream education when they are battling, some mental health issues. So, for me, I was really, really willing to come on board and help you with that. And we don't have enough funding. Schools don't have enough funding to help tackle student and child mental health. There's long waiting times to get professional help. So it's amazing that there's going to be this resource that you guys have put together out of your own time to kind of bridge that gap, I suppose, of what's available formally and some kind of like a self-help, which is fantastic. Okay, so that is brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us. I will put the link when the book is ready, which should be by the end of May or perhaps sooner.
Yes.
As soon as the book is ready and it's ready for download and to buy, and I want to encourage everyone to buy a copy, I will put the link to get that book in the video description or the comments description for the video. Please, 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 if you know anyone, teachers, educators, or anyone in the public at large who has a vested interest in child's mental health, would like to support, if you could share this book as widely as possible when it comes out, we would be super, super grateful. So that's it from me for today. Go out there and smash it, amazing teachers, for Teacher Appreciation Week, and let's bring on the challenges and embrace them again as they unfold in front of us. Thank you very much for Emily and to Sam, who's playing a part behind the scenes, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. See you later.
See you later.